All right, let's dive into something that is absolutely fundamental for anyone working in maintenance and reliability. We're talking about the 5 core types of data that form the bedrock of any solid maintenance system. Let's get right into it.
You know that feeling, right? You pull a report, you're trying to figure out asset performance or maybe where your maintenance costs are going, and you just look at the data and think, this makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, you are not alone. It's a super common frustration.
But here's the thing, and this is the big secret. The problem usually isn't the report itself. Nope. It's the data that's feeding it. The best way to think about it is like building a house. If your foundation is cracked and uneven, it doesn't matter how great the rest of the house is, right? It's going to be unstable. It's the exact same story with your maintenance data. So let's start right there with that foundation. This is our first pillar, the system's blueprint. And to be clear, we're not talking about your physical assets yet. We're talking about the digital house they all live in. I just love this quote from the source material. It's so simple and perfect. This first pillar is all about defining the rules for how your maintenance software, your CMMS, is actually built and how it's supposed to behave. So the official term for this is system configuration data. It's what defines that whole digital environment. Think of it as all the behind-the-scenes logic that controls workflows, who can see what, and just the overall structure of how things work. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it's the rule that automatically numbers your work orders in that specific format you use. It's how you define user roles. A planner can do these things, but a technician can only do those things. It's even setting up your crew shift calendars and automated notifications. These are the fundamental rules of the road for your system. Okay, let's move on to our next 2 pillars. Now, these 2 get confused all the time, but they are critically different. We're going to look at the house rules that everyone has to follow, and then we'll look at the inventory of what's actually inside the house. Pillar number 2 is work process data. The easiest way to think about this is as the standardized official language for your entire organization. Because without it, you just get chaos. You get people using all kinds of different terms for the same thing, and your reports become useless. So these are the approved, locked-down lists everyone has to use. This is exactly how you prevent that data chaos. Instead of letting a technician just type in busted or broken, you give them a standard drop-down list of failure codes like leak or vibration. Same thing for work types, priority codes, status codes. It ensures everyone is speaking the same exact language. And that brings us to pillar number 3, master data. So if work process data is the set of rules, master data is the list of things those rules apply to. This is like the official identity card for every single asset, every spare part, and every person in your system. This is where you find all the nitty-gritty details, right? Pump P302, its model number, its exact location in the plant hierarchy. It also includes the specific PM tasks for that pump and, crucially, the bill of materials that lists the exact spare parts it needs. It's the detailed inventory of your entire physical world. So let's just nail down this difference because it's so important. Work process data gives you the approved code, like priority P1. Master data gives you the specific thing, like the record for pump P302. One describes the rules of the game, the other describes the players and the equipment. Getting this right, it's a total game changer. Okay, so we've got our foundation and our inventory in place. Let's move on to the final 2 pillars. These are all about capturing the action, the day-to-day stuff, and the long-term story that it all tells. Pillar 4 is transactional data. And really, it's as simple as that quote says. It's the record of things that happen every single day. This is the dynamic, living, breathing part of your maintenance system. This is basically your daily logbook. Every time a work order is being executed, a technician logs their hours, a part gets pulled from the storeroom, a vibration reading is taken. That's a transaction. It's the real-time proof that work is actually happening. And this leads us perfectly into our 5th and final pillar, historical data. So what happens when a transaction, like a work order, is finally completed? Well, it doesn't just vanish. It becomes a permanent part of that asset's story. It basically becomes the asset's memory card. And why is this memory card so incredibly powerful? Well, check this out. I found a great example of this in action. By analyzing 5 years of pump failure history, one company discovered that a staggering 64% of their failures were bearing-related. You just can't get that kind of deep insight without clean, reliable, historical data. That is how you stop just reacting and start being proactive. So, as you can see, these 5 pillars are not islands. They build on top of each other to create this really powerful and stable data structure. Let's do a quick recap of how it all fits together. Here it is, the ultimate cheat sheet. If you want to tell them apart instantly, just look at how often they change. System configuration, you set it and forget it, it rarely changes. Work process codes, they might change occasionally. Master data only changes when your physical plant changes. And then, of course, transactional and historical data are growing and being updated every single day. This is the framework you can use to go back and diagnose your own data issues. And this right here is why all of this really matters. The end goal isn't just to have tidy reports. The goal is to use this clean, structured data to plan our work better. Because when we can plan better, we create operations that are not just more reliable or more efficient, but are fundamentally safer for every single person on site. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to take back to your team. Looking at these 5 pillars, from the systems blueprint all the way to the historical logs, which one is the weakest link in your organization right now? Because finding that answer, that's the first real step to building a maintenance program that's truly driven by data.